Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. As the title suggests, we're going to be taking a look at some fan-made legendary cards that are pretty damn awesome. I personally think that some of the coolest cards are always done by the players themselves, and I guess that this is for good reason. No one really spends more time playing the actual game other than the players, and in result we tend to get a lot of creative ideas. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and showcase some of these cool legendaries with you guys. I found them around on the internet, and of course I will source everyone in the description so you can check them out yourselves, and I highly recommend that you do and support the people who make these awesome ideas. First up on our list we have Frozen in Time by MadMike722. Costing 4 mana, this card called Frozen in Time will allow you to discover a legendary beast from the past. However, it will summon it frozen. Now for the most part this is actually pretty balanced, and it's sort of similar to Toki, but the effect of that card adds a random legendary minion while this particularly says summon. While not confirmed by Mad Mike himself, many redditors said that this would work really well if it was locked to summon based on a class specific legendary beast instead of just being a general summon. A lot of people would also point out that the 4 mana is probably a little bit low and would need to be bumped up to maybe something like 5 or 6. Again, these aren't really my personal opinions, I just look at the general Reddit commenters and kind of relay what they think to you guys. They're the better Hearthstone players, I'm not very good myself. Next up we have the Kael'thas Sunstrider by SquawkyAtan. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your guys' names. Costing 7 mana, this card would hero power cost 10 and deal 10 damage in return. At first you might think that it's kind of weak because it wouldn't survive a single turn because of its high priority 7 drop with 5 health, but this card is pretty powerful with Water Boy and Frostlynched Jaina, which doesn't change the hero power, only its damage. More notably, you could play Water Boy to hero power to Black Wield Pixie and then back to Water Boy. Hero power is 7 mana for a 20 damage combo. Now this would be a pretty crazy play. Credit to Broken Mirror 2010, who is a redditor in the comments there. The thing is that Fencing Coach, Maiden of the Lake, and Water Boy are all redundant combo enablers with each other, as are Pixies and Garrison commanders. This would basically make this card super broken, and most of the cards that end up being broken that are fan-made is more that it's hard to pay attention to all the possible synergies that Hearthstone has to offer. Now for our next card, it's called Ol'Reliable and is by the same creator. Taking 1 mana, the card reads, doesn't lose durability if your deck has no other weapons. This starts in your hand. First read, you might think it's insane. While it would be very strong, it wouldn't be over the top as long as it couldn't be enchanted, and at least that's in my opinion. Karya, a Reddit user, explained this well actually. The thing is that it doesn't fit in the deck for a warrior, and you wouldn't really be able to use it in control, and if you decided to, you'd be losing out on Super Collider, which is a way better card. If you instead played it in an aggro deck, then that means there's no Arcane Reaper, and you will have a lot less damage all of a sudden. The best deck contender for this card is probably the mid-range deck, but you'd still have to cut Arcane and Fury War Axe and find 29 other good warrior cards for that type of deck. However, even with that being said, I always like looking on both sides of this card, and it probably does have its flaws in the real game like most fan-made cards would, and that flaw would be that there is no current weapon removal that could generate the meaningful tempo to face against the card itself. This is because it's simply too cheap. By itself the card is pretty weak and kind of well balanced, but in the right deck it might be very busted, and honestly it's what makes this interesting. Anyhow, that's a lot of blabbering, it's more so just fun theory crafting on my end, but it is a fan-made card, and join my theory crafting in the comments below and let me know what you guys think. Next we have Lifewing by FroztedMech. This is an awesome dragon themed card, costing a whopping 20 mana, but if this card does cost more than your total mana pool, then you use all your mana and reduce the card's cost by the amount of mana you spent. In return, it will heal your hero to full health, and the key word is investment. It's a cool idea and concept in general. It'd be completely badass to see more card concepts that are based around this mechanic. I have to mention that investment doesn't really fit the theme of Hearthstone too much, and maybe something like infuse might make a little more sense. I think we can all agree to that, but it's besides the point for what could really be an awesome mechanic. I'm not too sure how powerful it'd be because of the high cost and potential wasted turns, but I do think if played right, it could also be powerful. It's unique in its own circumstance, and maybe it could end up balancing itself out. Anyways, moving away from the awesome mechanic, we have another badass card made by Randomizer, and it's called That Which Defiles. The cost is 7 mana, and in turn causes a battle cry, destroy your other minions, summon a copy of this minion for each destroyed. Now it could be a good high reek combo, not all too sure, but the concept itself is pretty damn awesome. I guess if the stats on the card were balanced enough, it could make it situational, and maybe it would end up balancing itself out. I guess if the stats on the card were balanced well, then it could make it a situational card, and that could be perfect. I like the idea. Trucking on forward, we have Class Training by Eden Bernal. Costing a measly 1 mana, it reads Quest. Play 7 class cards from your own class, and then Reward. Upgrade your hero power. And the thing is I like the simplicity of this card. It's very straightforward, and the idea that you'd practice and train your own class by playing the respective cards, and in turn you'd be rewarded with an upgrade hero, is definitely the best part, and you wouldn't really need to tailor it to your deck. But the reward is also less game-changing in compared to other quests, and the only drawback is that you have one less useful starting hand. On to the next one, we have Kil'Jaeden by Jaica. It's another badass card, and I know I'm repeating myself, but they are, that's why I picked them. And it reads Battle Cry. Give minions in your deck +3/+3, and then you no longer draw a card at the start of your turn. Now the first thing to be pointed out is how you could run this card in a control deck and avoid fatigue, which would just make it too strong. If in the late game you were control versus control, it just kind of be have this card or lose. Not much I can personally think of as to how to balance this card, but maybe you guys can think of something and let me know in the comments. It's definitely important to note how awesome the artwork looks for this one. Super badass with a perfect demon vibe in it. On to our next one, we have Luna's Pocket Galazy by Fricky00. An awesome looking galaxy themed card. This might be my personal favorite on the list. The artwork is pretty mesmerizing to me, and I personally love it. Costing 5 mana, it reads, transform your deck into an endless source of random cards. Now this card would be absolutely crazy with Alunith, maybe even overpowered, maybe. I mean, you could probably destroy any fatigue decks if that's a bonus, but the cost out of getting random cards with no real synergy and no real win condition is a little bit wanky. It's definitely just meant to be for fun, and I really like it, to be honest. It's obviously too RNG to properly fit in Hearthstone, but at least that's what I think it's supposed to be. It sounds super fun. I'd play it. Would you guys play with this card? Let me know. Our next card goes by the name Ratham D Collector. Super creepy and great fitting artwork for this card that costs 10 mana and reads Battle Cry. Discover a minion of each rarity and gain their card texts. It's definitely a crazy unique idea with interesting logistics. Not too sure if it'd fare well or not, or how it could be overpowered. I mean, it's obviously kind of RNG, so I'm pretty hard on judging these things, but I potentially see this being a little bit too powerful, like more on the OP side than on the weak side. Again, not very sure though. However, that guides us straight into the final card for today. We have Lina, the Phoenix Queen by Raysad. So this is actually 2 cards. It's a take on a new centerpiece for Even Mage. Lina would cost 8 mana and reads Battlecry. If you used your hero power 8 times this game, summon the Blazing Phoenix, and in turn the Blazing Phoenix costs 10 mana and reads Charge. Can ignore minions with Taunt. Now, this concept is super cool, and the theme and ideas are badass to say the least. Anyways, talking about the card itself, it's actually pretty balanced, at least right now. If Gala is used, then this would be pretty strong, but Even Mage isn't doing so hot currently, so it kind of balances itself out. If Even Mage was in a different scenario, then I could say maybe it'd be overpowered, not too sure there, but all in all it's pretty decent and well balanced. A lot of people on Reddit mentioned that it wouldn't enable Even Mage all too well, and would work a lot better with Jedi and Spirit of Dragonhawk in a hero power synergy deck. Take it as you will. It's an awesome fan-made card regardless, in my own opinion. That does, however, just about sum up the video for today. I would love to know what your favorite card was in today's video, and if you'd like to see something like one of them maybe be implemented into the real game of Hearthstone, let me know. While you're down there, leave a comment about how I could maybe improve these videos, and more importantly, leave a like if you like the video. Make sure to subscribe for some future content. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.